All right, this is simply incredible. I'm going slow here so I can hold the camera with one hand, drive with pedals and the steering wheel, and still make it around the track successfully here. But I gotta tell you, this is a dream come true for me. I can't believe that this is actually happening. A Hot Wheels size car that's fully remote control with light kit, signals, the whole deal, 2-wheel drive, and a race wheel and pedal set. Look at that. There is my Turbo Racing 1/64 scale Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 9. This is a radio controlled car. I recently did a video with my son on this vehicle, plus a bunch of others from Turbo Racing. Here is the small radio, the pistol grip radio that it comes with. Great starter vehicles. These things are quick as whips. And we did some drift vehicles and some semi-trucks also. TurboRacing.net. I also started, well, I had been contacted by Mobility Electric Vehicle. They had actually partnered with Turbo Racing, and they were a distributor in Canada for Turbo Racing. We'll get to the semi-truck in a moment here. Now, Mobility Electric Vehicle has been working before I came out with my video in October 2017 about when I ripped apart a Logitech race wheel and pedal system and transmitter.
Complicated. The color coding, of course,
to make a lesser version of what we see here today. Mobility Electric Vehicle, MEV, came out with a quality race wheel. They had their patent in 2016, 7-channel. The rubber in here for the feedback is remarkable. Partnered with Turbo Racing after years to try to help fund this project, and they started working with the race chips that were in here to bind it to these. So the drift cars, the race cars, can now be controlled by this. But MEV is just not a radio manufacturer. They don't just do this. They're like a school. They teach people how to drive and different scenarios like that. And they have a first-person view set up. They have the whole chair set up, the stand, things plug into the side. I don't know enough about their business, but I know that they offered this to work with Turbo Racing. Now, was that enough for me to like, oh, let's bring it in? Because this is extremely expensive. This is targeted towards, the pricing is targeted towards businesses and schools because they can't manufacture enough of these because they're so expensive to make. But one of the things that caught my eye was, if you see a slot right here, this has a brace to sit to the table. That slot is for a separate 7-channel receiver, which means any RC that takes 7 channels or less, realistically, unless they need a bunch of different types of toggle switches, I imagine, can take this. Dun, 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 enter waverc.com, where I got this Volvo. Because this one, my friends, I think only takes 4 channels. So number one, I haven't been able to bind it here yet because I don't need this receiver. This one already has a receiver built in. I'm going to bind it, try to drive this little feller with it, and then I think I'm going to install this one. So I had said to Ryan, hey, how did you come to collaborate with Turbo Racing, and how can people know more about MEV?
And Ryan responded on Facebook, basically saying that we started this product for education purposes. We began modifying RC controllers and adopted steering wheels, combining them together for a couple of years, sold about 200 units, and we were not able to satisfy the needs from schools. Then we thought we needed a branded proprietary product, as we already had a patent for the system in 2016. Then we met Turbo Racing and started to adapt their controller mainboard into our product. They helped us with the manufacturing. Then, starting in 2019, tons of copycats came around, mainly focused on the low-end shopping mall type of applications. We wanted to preserve the education factor and came to Canada in 2023 to further develop a global market with remote learning and racing. Turbo Racing is our exclusive licensee in China that can produce FPV and RC cars using the steering wheels in China. That's why you'll see that there's a lot of hand controllers plus FPV micro RC coming out, but without the steering wheel. Plus, the total cost for a full driving experience is very high. It's hard for a consumer market. Therefore, we're selling these controllers with our own RC platforms to schools and educators for learning STEM and experience realistic racing. I'll get faster with time. And then there's the second mode, to switch over to any RC. So mode 2 basically is for the small cars, but mode 1 is for the regular RC receiver that comes included. Turn it back on, system 1 quickly, but if I would have turned it off, turn it back on, system 2, so that's for the small cars. So I'm going to go back to system 1. Now I can activate the other receiver. I'm loving the battery indicator light also. The visual on that's very nice. Look at this, I was just going through the modes on the radio options and they have a crawl option for your different types of steering. Crab crawl, rear steer. Incredible. So on the Wave-RC FMX Volvo that I have here, this was a ready-to-run truck I've recently unboxed. This was the transmitter that comes with it, and it's a beautiful transmitter from Double E Hobby. That's the manufacturer of it. This is the receiver for it. I didn't need this huge receiver in there. As you can see, it's a 10-channel receiver. Don't need that on the inside. Only needed a few, really. Drive, steering, and my shifting servo. So I put the gyroscopic receiver from Turbo Racing on the inside there, the one that comes with the steering wheel. So on the side we've got some dials and knobs. These are basically your toggle switch. There is a 3-position switch right there, pardon me. You're going to back it up. There is your dual rate. Channel 3 is a momentary switch. Here is channel 6, which is on a dial. And here, as you can hear when I push it, channel 7 is a 2-position switch. And what you're hearing is my shifting in the truck occurring right there. So that's high and low. All right. And then when I move my steering wheel, guys, come on, this is getting super cool. You're starting to understand why I brought this in here for sure, right? So what I'm going to do, I can step on the pedals and it will move forward. So I set up my lights on channel 5, which is just a dial. There we are. Let's put it on the floor and get a little bit of clearance room. So normally I'd be sitting forward or using a first-person view set of goggles for this, but in a tight area I don't really need that. Plus I have full mobility around the semi-truck for when I'm backing up, for example. So I'm going to situate myself so you guys can see what's going on 90 degrees from the way I'm actually driving. Beep, beep, beep. Shifting gears. Slower. It's
very responsive. Shifting. So there it is. The racing wheel we've always dreamt of. I don't know if we can program these buttons. I didn't get to that part. I didn't see any instructions for them or the paddles, and I was trying to figure out, geez, that would be great if they were assignable, but I didn't see anything there. Everything was done on the side, so interesting. There it is, guys. I think that's pretty cool. After all these years, it's remarkable to see a steering wheel and pedal setup done for the consumer or just the RC world in general. If you guys have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comment section down below. Again, it's just overall what a treat to see it come this far in the hobby, guys. To the point where we can have little 1/64th scale RCs from turboracing.net that are far beyond any kind of technology I thought could ever exist, but now does. Straight up to, I could hook this up to a Primal RC, a big 1/5 scale monster truck, and drive it around. I could hook it up to a 10th scale RC. Like, the competitions that could be had with this technology alone is remarkable. So hopefully we've earned a like click from you today. Give it up for MEV and Turbo Racing just for making something like this happen. And to all the creators that are out there always pushing the boundaries, you never know what ideas are being watched and picked up and making the hobby better than it was before. So shout out to Ryan for sending this cool gear for us to check out. I know my son, his mind is going to be blown when he gets back from swimming and gets to hang out with Dad racing small cars with steering wheels. One thing that would make it better, the semi-truck should have a trailer. And I've got one. We'll unbox it in the next episode of RC Adventures. We'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Bye for now.